Revelations in court against a man charged with gunning down a Detroit mother as her children looked on.
We were supposed to be dating. We were still dating until this plumber guy came along. Okay, I'm gonna leave that alone.
Latrese Morris Dorsey, age 42, was shot 10 times to death in front of her 4-year-old daughter while in her home on Father's Day around the block of Avon Avenue. She was getting out of a relationship and moving on, but Maxwell, her ex-boyfriend, wasn't ready to let her go. Dorsey's 14-year-old son and 4-year-old daughter were in the home at the time of the shooting. She would eventually die in the hands of her 14-year-old son. Hello and welcome to Twisted Crimes. Subscribe and hit the like button for more stories.
The man accused of killing a Detroit mom while her kids were home will be in court.
Based on this case, we will be traveling to Detroit, Michigan, a city known for its connection to the auto industry. It also has various historical significance for professional sports teams, a vibrant nightlife district, and a thriving art and theater scene. Latrese Morris Dorsey was a mother of 3 children, a 4-year-old, 14-year-old and a college-age daughter. Latrese, a physical therapist, was married to Paul Dorsey, then got divorced before she started seeing Earl Maxwell. The relationship lasted for 4 years before this particular incident. The relationship was all they both wanted at the beginning, to the extent Maxwell got a tattoo of her on his hand. But 4 years down the line, things went sour and Latrese decided she wanted to move on and try something new, but Maxwell didn't take that well. Latrese moved into a new home with her 3 children and was getting out of the relationship with Maxwell. Maxwell got cut off by Latrese on every platform possible, which made Maxwell call her previous husband, telling him what Latrese had done. Maxwell called Latrese's ex-husband, telling him, "When I see your wife, I'm going to kill her." Paul Dorsey tried to persuade him to calm down. He would go ahead to call Paul at least 20 more times before the incident, making all kinds of threats. Paul also said he told Latrese about the threats, the last of which was just 2 weeks before her death. On Father's Day 2017 at about 8 p.m., 4-year-old Jada was watching her mother get dressed. Latrese was getting herself ready to make her way to her sister's house for the holiday, but unfortunately, tragedy would strike, ending her life. Maxwell went to her home, walked into her room, said hello to the 4-year-old, and he proceeded to shooting her 10 times before fleeing. Justin, her 14-year-old son, had been wearing headphones to play his Xbox, but as soon as his little sister told him what happened, he ran to the living room, where he found his mother dying. He tried to resuscitate his mother and yell for help, but she eventually took her last breaths in his arms. Medical officials were called to the scene and pronounced Latrese dead on scene.
Murdered with her children in the house with her, including her 4-year-old little girl.
Now police say the search is on to find and question her ex-boyfriend. 7 Action News reporter Kimberly Craig has been talking to loved ones who say that ex-boyfriend has been a problem.
Yeah, Kim joins us live now. We understand the children weren't harmed, at least not physically, Kim.
That's correct, Stephen. Physically, they're okay, but as you can imagine, heartbroken and damaged in so many other ways after what happened here. Now, Latrese Dorsey had just moved into this yellow house with her kids a few months ago after breaking up with her ex-boyfriend, a man who would not leave her alone.
He told me last week, he said, if I don't get in touch with your ex-wife, I'm going to come and shoot her in the head.
Loved ones of 42-year-old Latrese Dorsey say her ex-boyfriend was upset that she had already moved on after their breakup a few months ago. Detroit police are now looking to question 38-year-old Earl Maxwell in Latrese's murder. She was killed in her home on Avon in front of her 4-year-old daughter, Jada.
She said he came in and he said hi to Jada, to her, and he started shooting her mom. Yeah, he shot her 5 times.
Latrese's 14-year-old son, Justin, was in a back room with his headphones on playing Xbox, and he heard his mom arguing with someone, but he had no idea the sounds that followed were gunshots until his little sister ran to tell him Mommy had been shot.
For him to see his mama take her last breath and him trying to help her live and then him running outside screaming, help, 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 that's sad. You know, we all lose loved ones every day, but to see your mom just die in front of you and under those circumstances, that's the sad part.
Now the search is on to find Latrese's ex-boyfriend, Earl Maxwell. Right now, Detroit police are only calling him a person of interest. We're told he's 5 feet 8 inches tall with a heavy build, yellow teeth, and Latrese's name tattooed on his left arm.
If somebody know where he's at, you are just as guilty as him. The fact that you are hiding him, the fact that you are helping him hide.
Megan Morris, Latrese's sister, asked little Jada what happened that terrible day. "My mom is dead. He killed my mom. My mom is shot," was all the toddler said. Dorsey's ex-boyfriend, Earl Maxwell, was named a person of interest in the shooting and was taken into custody a couple of days later. Maxwell was arrested and charged with first-degree murder and a felony firearms violation.
The man accused of killing a Detroit mom while her kids were home will be in court.
Yes, a judge is going to be deciding if there is enough evidence to send him to trial. Let's get to Coco McAvoy joining us now live. And Coco, this is a crime that really shocked this neighborhood.
Yes, Rhonda and Evrod, that really did shock the neighborhood because the woman was shot and killed in her home while her kids were also in the house. And today, 37-year-old Earl Maxwell will be in court facing charges for her murder. It's been 4 months since the death of a Detroit mother shot and killed in her own home. This was the scene that day as family and friends learned Latrese Morris Dorsey was murdered.
What's really disturbing is that there was a 4-year-old child in the house and a 14-year-old, and to find your mom, to hear the gunshots and come out into a room and see your mom laying there bleeding, my heart goes out to them and to the family.
Police say Dorsey's ex-boyfriend, Earl Maxwell, shot her multiple times in her home near 8 Mile and the Southfield Freeway. Dorsey's teenager heard arguing followed by gunshots, and neighbors recalled what happened next.
He just said, "Help, that's, my mama's been shot, my mama gonna die. I don't know if he didn't kill my mama, I don't know what's going on."
Neighbor Ron Wilson tried reviving Dorsey that day.
I gave her CPR and, I noticed the bullet wounds. I noticed she took her last 2 breaths.
Medics responded to the scene and pronounced Dorsey dead. Police say Maxwell turned himself in to the Detroit Police Department a couple of days later in connection to the deadly shooting.
He turned himself in after police publicly named him as a person of interest on June 20, 2017.
Chilling new details coming to light today in the murder of Latrese Morris Dorsey.
Dorsey was killed back on June 18th inside her Detroit home. Her ex-boyfriend, Earl Maxwell, faces first-degree murder charges in the case. Jason Colthorpe is following the story for us tonight. And Jason, he is headed to trial.
During his trial, Maxwell stated that he accidentally shot Latrese Morris Dorsey 10 times. However, Latrese's estranged husband, Paul Dorsey, said that he received disturbing phone calls from Maxwell where the killer said that he intended to attack Latrese.
What did he say the first time you spoke?
When I see your wife, I'm gonna kill her. The second time he called, he reiterated that he was gonna hurt her.
Maxwell's defense attorney, though, challenged Dorsey's testimony, saying it conflicted with his statement to police.
Well, no, sir. What did I just say? I said, first time I said he called back, he said he killed her. He called back 5 minutes later, told me he wasn't going to kill her. But that's what he said. He said twice he was going to kill her.
Okay, but that's not what's in your statement, is it?
Yeah, that's because, let me tell you why. That's because my wife was dead, and I'm going through my mind crazy, okay? And you guys question me. I know, go ahead, do your thing.
Let's do this.
But the prosecutor pointed to another statement, Maxwell's.
In his statement, claims that he accidentally shot Ms. Dorsey 10 times. He specifically indicates that he accidentally shot her in the back of the head, in her hands, throughout her body.
All with that 4-year-old girl in the room. And what you heard there, a word, accidentally, is what the defense is focusing on to try and get this first-degree part of the murder charge. That seems to be the sticking point here, including one of those shots that went to the back of the head, they saying was accidental in kind of this whole flurry of things. But again, he was bound over on the first-degree murder charge as well.
Wayne County prosecutor was asked how he felt about the case, and he stated that what makes these allegations especially disturbing is that the crime was committed in the presence of one of the deceased's children and within earshot of another. Another baffling part of the trial was when Maxwell was trying to justify what he had done to Latrese in the court before he was stopped by his lawyer.
We were supposed to be dating. We were still dating until this plumber guy came along. Okay, I'm gonna leave that alone.
Maxwell continued on with things that had the judge telling him to zip it until finally...
But I was wrong. I was wrong, and I'm sorry, and ain't no way I can repay this. It's between me and the Lord now. I just want to let y'all know that I have repented with every bone in my body, and I can never take this back down here on this earth. And I just want to let y'all know that the Lord gave me a dream that she's with the Lord, and that's the only thing that kept me from killing myself.
Back here live, her family didn't think much of his repenting. Apparently, the judge didn't either, sentencing him to 25 to 50 years in prison.
After 4 years his mother was murdered, Latrese's son, Justin, graduated with a 4.0 GPA and football scholarship.
I knew at the end of the day I had to work hard for what I want, and that was to go to college on a scholarship to play my favorite sport and major in what my mom always wanted to, just to get the degree she didn't have, to make her proud, because I knew I wanted it for myself. We all want to be successful, but first you have to want it for yourself, and that is what I achieved.
Justin wants to make his mom proud, achieving what she couldn't because of her untimely death. He just wishes she was here to see it.
She supported me through everything, and just for me to accomplish my dreams and goals, I really wish she could see me.
Our condolences to the friends and family of Latrese Morris. May Latrese's memory be a blessing for her family and for all who knew her, and may her life and death be an inspiration and a turning point towards justice and increased protection for domestic abuse survivors. Please stay safe and see you guys in the next video.